Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's third video. So day 10 is going to take us to around the 17th of May. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extend GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 for June at the end of the video. Talking of June, CFS, we did GWV Friday as our second video today, so that's taking us just to the beginning of June. So have a look at GWV Friday if you'd like to do that. And we've also released our 7 AM upload, of course, our nice little forecast looking at the weather for the next 2 or 3 days. I'll tell you what's coming up over the weekend at the end of the video. Right, so let's get on with it then. We're going to start off with the latest observations from XC Weather. So temperatures are a little bit higher today. We've got 14 degrees flashing away here across more southern counties. You remember when we did the video yesterday at around the same time, around or just after midday, temperature was struggling at around 11 or 12. So temperatures are a couple of degrees up, but nevertheless it's still quite chilly, especially so in the northern half of the country. Temperatures there still pegged back under double digits, well below average for the time of year. We've got 10 degrees there, for example, at Teesside. We've got just 7 degrees SWR. South Island is just 5 degrees, going northward still. Loch Glasgarrick at 6 degrees. And Belfast at 10. Down into Wales, struggling there with temperature. Lake Vermey, just 5 degrees. Rhyl at 9 degrees. Heading into South Wales, Cardiff at 12 degrees. South West England, Exeter's at 14. We've got Bryce Norton, but I saw just there, I think it's around 12 degrees. We've got Wellesbourne at 11 degrees. We've got Wittering 10 degrees into Eastern England, Lakenheath at 10 and Norwich at 11. So temperatures are up a degree or two down in the south compared to yesterday. Still very chilly though, and up in the north it remains cold. This cold weather is going to ease over the weekend as we bring the wind in from the southwest. In fact, east areas could feel quite warm on Sunday afternoon. Surging temperature has dropped compared to yesterday, so this is highly unusual. Of course, we're in a warming time of year, so day by day, we expect the trend to be up. Yesterday, I think it was at 7.2. Today, we're back down to just 7 degrees. That's nearly 3 degrees below average, provisional to yesterday's 6th of May. We're probably going to see that lifting up over the next few days, however. So I reckon by this time next week, we might get that into the 8s or possibly low 9s, but still below average. It is going to be a struggle, I think, to get that warmer than average. It will take, to go warmer than average, it's going to take a big heat wave at some point towards the end of the month, I would have thought, and there's not really all that much side of that. In fact, the upper air temperatures are looking very disappointing. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We're at Darwen in the northwest of England today, so we're starting off significantly cold on average. Of course, got one more day of significantly below average temperatures with that -5 Celsius, and that might be the last time you see the temperature at -5 at 850 HPA, or today might be the last time we see the temperature at -5 at 850 HPA until excuse me, until into next winter. So we may not see the temperature that low again until like next November, December time. I'll have to wait and see about that, of course. But in any case, we are going to see the temperature lifting up over the weekend. So yes, we're still on course of this warm-up over the weekend, lifting the temperature up by about 10 degrees, which is a fairly significant amount, actually, in just a couple of days. It doesn't last all that long, though, and by the middle of next week, we're back down to, or maybe a little bit below average. I mean, you have to say that really the upper air temperatures looking rather disappointing then, aren't they? Just sort of flatlining close to the long-term average, even into almost the last week of the month now. So, I mean, we may be a little bit above average with some of these ensemble members, but you wouldn't look at that and think it's a particularly exciting ensemble graph, would you, from a warm perspective? And there's nothing there really to suggest that we will greatly offset this very cold start that we've had. So even though the temperatures are going to gradually recover, and be closer to average, I mean, it's going to take a lot to offset this near 3 degree below average anomaly. That's 3 degrees against 61 to 90 average, by the way. It's even greater than that against like 81 to 2010. or 91 to 2020. So anyway, there's nothing really there to suggest that we offset that very warm, that very cold start with really warm weather. So I think we are going to struggle for May to come out warm and average. We're still early days in the month, we're only 1 week in, but there's nothing there at the moment to suggest anything particularly warm coming up, and it remains sort of reliably and regularly unsettled from beginning to end. Mist precipitation spikes with the wet weather that's coming in tonight and tomorrow. It's going to lift the temperature up, and then after that it's just sort of regularly unsettled showers along with spells of rain right way through to the second half of the month, unfortunately. Temperature anomalies from the 7th to the 15th of May are going to be colder than average, not just the UK but through most parts of northern Europe. The anomaly to average is not as great as it has been over recent days, but nevertheless still coming out a little bit below average, with temperature precipitation anomalies from the 7th to the 15th of May average to rather below average. Latest wind flow map from, or I should say average to rather above average for precipitation. Latest wind flow map from nullschool.net shows that we continue to be bringing in northerly winds. However, we have got this area of low pressure out in the Atlantic. It's a deep area of low pressure as well. And around this low pressure, around the southern side of the low, I suppose, we're dragging in like a southwesterly wind. So as that weather front pushes into the country overnight tonight into tomorrow, it will pull in warmer air from the southwest. So rain at times, yes, but will be milder over the weekend or even warmer. That's how UK Met's looking for Monday. Low pressure just to west of Ireland on Monday, throwing in bands of rain across the country, so it will be unsettled. And we're beginning to push that sort of warm southwesterly over towards central and east parts of Europe as well, so that quickly goes away. We find the temperature returning back close to average and unsettled with the low pressure, bringing showers on as spells of rain. And that takes us up to the end of the UK Met, which gets us to the 13th of May. Notice, even then, we're beginning to raise the heights a little bit again around Greenland and Iceland. We just can't quite seem to shake off this northern blocking. No matter what happens, we still seem to find a way back towards higher pressure towards Greenland and Iceland. So that's threatened to pull in quite chilly winds from the north again, actually, by next Thursday, 13th of May. This is how the GFS 6 day is looking. Again, low pressure over to west of Ireland, bringing up a southwesterly wind, bringing showers along with spells of rain over weekend into next week. And then through the weekend, we keep the trough low pressure centred over country heights rising again up towards Greenland and Iceland. It's going to have a go, probably getting the wind back into the north. In fact, eventually what happens is that the low pressure begins to slip down towards Biscay, and we find the high pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland pulling in the wind from a north to northeasterly direction, or almost going easterly. So we probably dry things out for the second half of next week, and we pull in the wind from the east. That probably is a little bit warmer, but certainly nothing to get overly excited about. By the time we get through to Saturday, 16th of May, we've got low pressure over France. High pressure is sort of blocking again to our north. Winds are in from the east. This low pressure could be threatening quite a bit of rain down into the south, maybe even thunder. Could be thundery rain coming up from the south there around days 9 and 10, 16th, 17th of May. So that could turn into quite a wet scenario, particularly for England and Wales. Probably quite cool as well. Drier for Scotland with winds in from the east, and probably a little bit warmer up there, especially across West Scotland. Again, notice all of the blocking though that's to the north. We just cannot get rid of the blocking somehow or other, can we? So that's how the GFS looks up to day 10, and then beyond that we sort of settle into a drier pattern actually, with high pressure beginning to ridge down from the north. The GFS wants to ridge high pressure down from the north and turn us a little bit drier. But probably still quite cool as we pull the wind in from like a northerly direction. So we're still on the cool side of the high pressure, all the way up to the end of the GFS run, which gets us to the 23rd of May. GM looks like this. So again, the low pressure is dominating the weather into the early part of next week. The low pressure eventually slips away to the south, and we bring a ridge down from the north. So it does dry things out around days 7, 8, 9, 10 with the GM. But again, it's probably quite cool. We're still on the cool side of the high pressure, so that's turning dry but staying reasonably cool. And then the ECM looks like that. So once more low pressures over top of the country early next week, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Low pressure eventually slips away to the south. Heights rise towards Iceland again. Winds going back into the east or to the northeast. So still quite cool and rather showery up to the end of the ECM run, which is day 10, gets us to the 17th of May. I mean, we've got blocking back in again around Greenland, Iceland, low pressure, mainly to our south-southwest. Fundamentally, the pattern is not changing particularly, long term. It still looks like the blocking goes on. High pressure remains around Greenland, Iceland. Low pressure coming in underneath it keeps things quite unsettled. Relatively cool, relatively unsettled conditions really up to day 10. There's no sign of a push from like the Azores or from the south or from the southwest, which is the area we need to get a push from to really fundamentally change the pattern and to warm things up. Right, this is how the ECM precipitation type forecast looks today, based on that ECM run from TibetShow.com. So showers, particularly in the north today, mainly dry in the south. Overnight tightening tomorrow, in comes all of this wet weather pulling in from the Atlantic. It is pulling in those warmer southwesterly winds, though, keeping rain going across northern England, Wales, southwest England as well, into sunny. So it's like a swathe of rain that gets a bit stuck actually there through northern England, parts of the Midlands into Wales, southwest England. Could give quite a soggy weekend. Showery up to the north. In the far southeast corner ahead of that, it's quite warm. So that's where the highest temperatures will be, I think, like East Midlands into East Anglia, southeast England. Quite warm there on Sunday afternoon, could reach 20 degrees. And then into next week, just sort of showery showers, longer spells of rain, never too far away. Perhaps some wet weather becoming more focused towards more southern areas later on. And even up to day 10, it remains quite showery. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met. Obviously gets us to the 17th of May. 15 members of the ECM ensembles are just looking unsettled. Low pressure over top of the country. 11 have high pressure towards Scandinavia. Low pressure is over to the south country. Winds are in from the east. That's dry for Scotland, but probably quite wet for England and Wales. 9 have a nice ridge here over into the southwest of the country, so that's going to be a drier and rather warmer option with winds coming up from the southwest. 9 or another 9 with low pressure just to our west, income westerlies, so that's going to be quite unsettled. And then 7 with low pressure to our southwest, high pressure to our east northeast. That's probably pulling in something a little bit warmer from the southeast, but the low pressure to the southwest could be providing something a bit on the unsettled side. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got, which will get us to the 22nd of May. 20 members of the ECM ensembles with that Scandinavian high, bringing easterly winds, although we have got some lower pressure over to west country, so that could be a little bit more unsettled than you might envisage. 17 here, actually looking quite settled, with high pressure over and to the north of the country. Could still be a little bit on the cool side, as around the high pressure, we're probably bringing the wind flow and direction in from the northeast, so probably could be a bit cool with that, but at least it's mainly dry. And 14 with high pressure or ridge, I suppose, just to our southeast, lower pressure towards Greenland, Iceland. So that could be a little bit showery, but probably reasonably warm. I mean, the hints are still there, as they have been over the past several days, but we might bring in something drier and warmer as we progress into the second half of May, but still it remains rather flimsy. Finally, for June, this is how the CFS is looking for June with a 700 millibar height anomaly. Still go for above average heights, close to the UK and across much of Western Europe as well. So that should be a relatively warm and settled June if it comes up. The temperature anomaly is above average for June. No signal for precipitation, but you expect a relatively dry month on that. But bear in mind, this time last month, at this point in April, CFS was signaling a relatively warm and dry May, and we know how that's turned out. So I think you do need to stay rather cautious on that idea of warmer, drier weather for June at the moment. Right, so that's it for today's video. So if you enjoyed today's videos, please can you give us a like. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. You'll be able to see future weather content if you do that. Tell your friends, family, everybody else who subscribe. Thank you so much for doing this, GavsWeatherVids. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We just need to put on now around 50 more subscribers. Just 50 more subscribers to get us to 11k. So we are moving with the subs at the moment, quite a bit. And yeah, not much long to go now to get to 11k subscribers. So if you can help get us to 11k, it'd be absolutely great. Thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing and telling friends, family, everybody else who subscribe too. Right, so we're done with today's videos. I'll just tell you what's coming up over the weekend. Tomorrow, we're going to start up with our 7 AM upload. We'll have the ECMWF 42-day forecast, 6-week forecast tomorrow. We're going to have weekend forecast as well, and we'll have a 10 to 14 dayer. And then on Sunday, another summer update. GavsWeatherVids sitting around, and I'll be live streaming as well from Sunday evening. You enjoy the rest of your Friday. And that's it, though. So for today's videos, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.